In 1903, Georgist feminist Lizzie Meiji applied for a patent for a revolutionary new type of board game. Called the Landlord's Game, Meiji intended it to be a way of teaching and spreading Georgist criticisms of capitalist rent-seeking and to satirize capitalist values. This patent filing shows the original form of the game, with properties for sale, a jail, and many other features. It was an innovative game, and was the first to have a continuous path without defined start and end points, as well as the concept of ownership, where a player would be penalised if that square was owned by another player, even if that player's piece wasn't there. Clearly, Meiji's game draws many similarities to Monopoly, the game invented by Charles Darrow in 1935, that made him the first millionaire games designer in history, but she is not credited with its creation. So what happened? Meiji's game spread predominantly through word of mouth, arriving in Indianapolis around 1932. She had submitted the game to Parker Brothers in 1910 for publication, but they had rejected it, calling it too complicated. And again in 1924, where it was again rejected for being too political. Shortly after though, in 1935, Darrow sold Monopoly to Parker Brothers for an undisclosed amount. In a letter to WRCV-TV, Eugene Rayford from Westtown, Philadelphia claimed that his friend Charles Darrow had stolen the game. It establishes that the game ended up in Indianapolis from a student of economics, and then it was given to Ruth Hoskins, who was vacationing there from Atlantic City. She took it to Atlantic City where several friends got together. Among the group was Cyril Harvey and my brother Jesse. We still have houses and hotels he made for us. That winter, 1923 to 1933, we gave many Monopoly parties here at Westtown School. Among the friends we introduced to the game were Charles and Olive Todd. Mr. Todd at that time was manager of the Emlyn Arms Apartments in Germantown, where, by the way, Darrow was from. The Todds were friends of the Darrows, so gave them the game. It was not long after that Mr. Darrow invented the game and later made a business arrangement with Parker Brothers. Meiji's original patent had run out in 1921, but she repatented it in 1924 on the advice of George Parker, with a new rule, that higher rent could be charged if a player owned all three railroads and utilities, bringing Meiji's game ever closer to the form of Monopoly Darrow claimed to have invented. It's clear now that Darrow took the game of Monopoly, which had been shared with him by friends who had learned it indirectly from Meiji, and capitalised on it. Ironic, given that the original game was meant to criticise capitalism.
We're the History Detectives.
Furthermore, in 2004, PBS aired an episode of History Detectives that investigated a game board owned by Ron Jarrell of Arden, Delaware, that combined elements of the Landlord's Game and Monopoly, proving that the two games were linked and Darrow was not the sole inventor. Nevertheless, Darrow produced copies of the game with his family, adding a few of the iconic Monopoly icons such as the Go Arrow, the light bulb and the faucet, designed for him by a hired graphic designer. Fast forward to the modern day, and Hasbro is releasing Miss Monopoly. Parker Brothers was absorbed by the toy giant in 1991 in a deal worth $516 million. Meiji's game spread throughout the US during the 1900s among family and friends, being tinkered and changed by those who played it. In this way, Meiji succeeded in promoting Georgism by engaging people with its concepts, such as the single tax theory. To say Meiji was the sole and only contributor to the development of the Landlord's Game / Monopoly would be misleading, because really it was everyone who learned about the game through word of mouth that then adapted and passed it on that developed the game. Soon after purchasing the game from Darrow in 1935, Parker Brothers bought Meiji's game for $500 to secure all copyrights and quietly killed it in favour of Monopoly, which was rapidly becoming a worldwide hit. In an interview with the Evening Star in 1936, Meiji was asked if she was upset that she was paid only $500 and no royalties for the game. Her response was that if the subtle propaganda for the single tax theory works around to the minds of the thousands who now shake the dice and buy and sell over the Monopoly board, the whole business will not have been in vain. Meiji died alone in 1948 without ever being properly credited for the game, and in the end the hyper-capitalist version made by Darrow championed over hers. It's typical, the story of Monopoly. The theft of a cultural art in pursuit of profit. And profit it got, with over 275 million sets having been sold as of 2015. If Hasbro really cared about female empowerment, they'd spread the story of Elizabeth Meiji, who is the reason for their biggest success. Though, it's probably easier for them to sit on their billions than expose their past. After all, profit is king.